Okay, here we go. We're going to have to get our rulebook out for this one, aren't we? Arsenal 2, Sheffield United 1. The Blades lose again. At least they get on the score sheet. Dave McGoldrick scoring there in the second half. It was already 2-0 at that point, though. Saku and Pepe had scored. As usual, the three at the back there. Basham, Egan. O'Connell is out for a while, so Robinson may get a fair amount of minutes. Baldock and Stevens are the wing-backs. Osborne, Berger and Lundstrom. So still, Fleck, Norwood on the bench. Up top, it's still Burke and McGoldrick. He's being stubborn with this selection. Let me know, Blades fans, if you think he's being too stubborn with this selection. Could he tweak a little bit? Because you do have, as I said, Norwood and Fleck on the bench to pep up that midfield. And obviously Billy Sharp, McBurney to pep up the forward. They keep losing, but here it comes. There is a big mitigating factor in this one. So, I think this is really early in the game. Maybe a couple of minutes into the game. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is David Luiz and Oliver Burke. And David Luiz is pulling back Oliver Burke. To play the situation out, that picture is very, very damning. It happens really, really quickly. Luiz makes the mistake. Burke is now going through. You can see the keeper way, way out of his goal is going to come and sweep up. Luiz has a quick grab of the shirt. And so we are again in red card mode or not red card mode. Now, one thing I must say really, really quickly. Let's deal with this decision. I know it's going to be irritating as hell for Sheffield United fans that John Egan got sent off for a pull and denial of an obvious goal scoring opportunity in the first game. So, Blades fans will be thinking, there's been a tight one go against us there in a defensive play, and now a tight one go against us here in an attacking play. But what is really, really important here, if we're going to do proper analysis, the situation cannot be, and I know you don't want to hear this, Blades fans, but it cannot be, if Egan was sent off, then Luiz should be sent off. That's not the debate at all, is it? Let's be honest with ourselves. Unless David Luiz and Ollie Burke and the keeper here are running at exactly the same speed, exactly the same distance, the ball is exactly the same trajectory towards the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper's moving exactly the same distance as in the game. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily follow that just because Egan was sent off, Luiz should be sent off. Now, that's not to say that it's not a red card here. We'll look at that in just a second. But the debate, and I get it. I get the frustration. I really, really do. But the narrative here is not if Egan got sent off, Luiz should be sent off. No, come on. We've got to be more sensible about that. It's a different game. It's a different decision. Every one of these situations is totally unique and we can't do one versus the other. We just have to look at what we've got and we have to look at the laws. So the laws say you will be red carded for denial of an obvious goal scoring opportunity. So we are again in IFAB semantics land, aren't we? Of what constitutes an obvious goal scoring opportunity and has David Luiz prevented one? So what we're looking at, and Graham Souness did a really good, I know Graham Souness gets pelters for being a little bit of a dinosaur sometimes. He did a really good job of this, and I have to say he had a better camera angle than this. He had the angle from behind, and he did it very simply, much more simply than I've done it. And he took this freeze frame, and then he took the freeze frame of when the Arsenal goalkeeper clears the ball. Now, when the Arsenal goalkeeper clears the ball, Ollie Burke is, I would say, less than a foot away from him. Now, this is where it's totally different than the John Egan red card because we didn't have that information, did we? Ollie Watkins stopped running. So we couldn't play out the scenario of, well, where did Burke get even with the pull? And the answer, I think, is very damning for David Luiz because Burke is only about a foot away from the ball. That would seem to imply that had David Luiz not pulled him, i.e. David Luiz's pull has slowed him down enough to stop him reaching the ball first. And obviously, if he reaches the ball first, it's a goal-scoring opportunity. So, my interpretation of this is that David Luiz should have been red-carded. Now, I wish I had I don't have it, of Ollie Burke and where the keeper clears the ball. Because I think that's the most damning thing here. So, I think David Luiz should be red-carded here because Ollie Burke seems to only be, as the game plays out and we see what actually happens, he seems to be close enough to the ball to suggest that he may well have had an opportunity, even if it was to slide it. It doesn't say in the laws a denial of a guaranteed goal. There's no such thing as a guaranteed goal. It's an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. If he gets to the ball first, that is an obvious goal-scoring opportunity because it's a 1v1 shot with the goal gaping, isn't it? So, my feeling is that David Luiz should be sent off. Not because, and this is the really unfortunate thing about the John Egan one, we didn't get it to see it play out. Egan pulls Watkins and Watkins stops. So we don't get to find, which is actually quite clever, isn't it? And we don't want to see players diving and simulating, but maybe if Burke had actually gone down, maybe Luiz would have been sent off. I don't want that to be how we end up playing football in 2020, but maybe that's the case. So, I get accused of sitting on the fence. Here is my view. David Luiz should have been red-carded because the evidence when the Arsenal goalkeeper clears the ball is that if he hadn't have pulled back Ollie Burke would have reached the ball first, ergo, and had a goal-scoring opportunity. Please, in the comments, let's just frame this correctly. Can we talk about this decision, though? Because my take is also the John Egan red card is very frustrating for Sheffield United fans, but utterly irrelevant to this decision. It's frustrating, yes, but any kind of comment that says, and look, I believe in free speech, you can say it if you want. I think you're wrong, but any comment that says because Egan was sent off, Luiz should have been sent off. I understand your frustration because one seems to have gone against you in an attacking sense and one seems to have gone against you in a defensive sense. But there's a disconnect. Just because one happened doesn't mean it's a completely unique situation. However, I do think, and I wish I had the shot, and Graham Souness did it very well on Sky, I do think Luiz should have been sent off. Therefore, there's another defeat with mitigating circumstances for Sheffield United where they've had to play in a game where they should have had the advantage that Aston Villa had when they played against, and yeah, I am making the comparison to the game state now. Aston Villa had that advantage. Maybe Sheffield United should have had that advantage and would have been playing 10 vs 11 or 11 vs 10 for most of the game. Okay, dealt with that one. Here are the goals. Nice one here for Saku. Good football down the right-hand side, chipped in and he heads in on the back post. This is a great goal as well by Pepe. Drives in from the right-hand side. Hugely frustrating for Blades fans, obviously. And sticks it in because you feel, if you're a Sheffield United fan, that you'd earned yourself an advantage in this game. And 11 vs 11, Arsenal do still have some very good players, don't they? Pepe's one of them and he produced that moment of quality. As an Ipswich fan, I obviously sit in disbelief as I see David McGoldrick in the Premier League at Arsenal on the edge of the box, curling one in with his left foot. It's a mixture of pride, because he was always an excellent player. You could see he was a technically really good player. Pride and happiness from McGoldrick that a good player is getting to do something, and that how rotten it's been at Ipswich. At least somebody's succeeding who'd been at Ipswich in the last 10 years. And it's a mixture of pride and amazement, because we just couldn't get him fit. Couldn't get him on the pitch for any more than 10, 15 games in a row. But good luck to him. It's a great goal by McGoldrick there. And it ends 2-1. And it's highly, highly frustrating for you Blades fans. Look, 64-36 on the possession, but 6 shots apiece. Arsenal 5 on target to 2. 1 big chance to 0. Heavy on the passes, 700 to 373. Wilder wouldn't be too bothered about that, given the big chance count is revealing, as I always say. And again, just a huge mitigating factor now. Sheffield United are going to be looking at a couple of these games now. They're going to say the Leeds game was very tight. And maybe Leeds edged it and you hold your hands up and say on a different day we could have won. But the other 2 games they've lost, because they've lost 4 now, they're going to say, Egan red card, well, that went against us. A subjective decision, isn't it? And that's it. When we're commenting as well, please remember this and please respect other people's opinions. It's subjective. There is no black and white. Offside is now black and white, isn't it? Has the ball crossed the line is black and white. We can't argue against it. If you're a millimetre offside, you're offside. If your ball's a millimetre over the goal line, it's a goal. If it misses by a millimetre, it's not a goal. Black and white. Red card, subjective. It's a matter of opinion as to whether John Egan denied an obvious goal scoring opportunity or David Luiz denied the goal scoring opportunity. So I can understand people coming down on either side. Please do not let your bias for your team cloud your reasoning. My opinion, my honestly held opinion with good intentions and no bias, I support Ipswich, hey? We're playing in League One against Milton Keynes. My honestly held opinion with no bias is that David Luiz should have been sent off. I have no agenda. The most offensive comment you can make to me on my YouTube channel is that I have an agenda or I'm not being honest. You are wrong. I have no agenda against David Luiz, against Arsenal, against John Egan, against Sheffield United. I have no agenda. I call it as I see it. Agree or disagree on subjective stuff. Don't tell me. Go tell me I had an agenda the other day. A Swansea fan told me I had an agenda against this team. There's many things I can be called, but dishonest, no. Absolutely not. Unlucky to the Blades, but the defeats continue. Although there does still seem to be some sense that it could swing the other way. If you enjoyed this clip, why not go and check out the whole video? You can find that and all of my other content at my channel, the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. And while you're there, why not hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for regular notifications?